The Ouija board, also known as a spirit board, is a historic tool embellished with letters, numbers and symbols traditionally employed for spirit communication. Its name combines the French and German words for yes, oui and jar, hinting at its role as a medium for messages from the beyond. Some link Ouija to ancient Egyptian Lux symbols or to the Moroccan city of Ouija, though these connections are speculative. Historically, the Ouija board's origins are shrouded in mystery, with some tracing its lineage back to ancient Egyptian divination practices in China, known as Fuji or planchette writing, used as early as 1100 AD during the Song dynasty. These early forms of spirit boards were reportedly used in seances and involved a moving pointer to spell out messages, much like modern Ouija boards.
In the West, the Ouija board emerged more prominently during the 19th century American spiritualist movement, a time when communicating with spirits was popular. The first commercial Ouija board was created and patented in 1891 by businessman Elijah Bond, who saw a commercial opportunity in the growing fascination with spiritualism. The board was originally intended as a parlour game unrelated to the occult. William Flood, an employee of Bond, took over the production of the Ouija boards and is often mistakenly credited as its inventor. He created the talking board, set up as we know it today, and started producing it under the Ouija brand. Flood's name became associated with the Ouija board that many believed he originated the concept.
The board was further popularised through its use by famous figures like American writer Pearl Curran, who claimed her novels were dictated via a Ouija board by a spirit named Patience Worth.
The Ouija board's reputation evolved over time, gaining a more sinister image in popular culture, especially after its use in horror films such as Exorcist and the recent one, Ouija. Despite this, the board remains a subject of fascination, blending elements of psychology, history and the supernatural. So, are Ouija boards real? As a group, us a Mystic Paranormal, we don't believe they are, but that is just our opinion. Other people have different opinions. This is what the paranormal is about, opinions. We believe they do not work, but they possibly could, we just don't know. So do they really open portals to another realm? What is the correct use of a Ouija? We was told that the correct use is to circle the planchette in a clockwise motion 3 times and put it to the middle of the board, ask your questions and see if the spirits communicate with you, with going to the letters to spell out names and also ages with the numbers and yes and no. Also, it's important to remember when using a Ouija board, you must be in the right frame of mind. Do not use a Ouija board if you are depressed or in a depression state, angry. You've got to be in a positive mood because what is believed, what you put into the board comes out of the board. Now onto a subject of faking. Well, here we go. A place that we've investigated many a time as a group, the Railway Cottage at Mansfield. Now, we have tried the Ouija board there with no success since members have left. The one time I have seen a Ouija board at the cottage which amazed us as a team was 2 ladies who was on the Ouija board upstairs, and somebody had to lift the finger off because the planchette was actually rotating around the other lady's finger with a finger on it, and it was on a wooden floor, so no magnets could be involved in that, and that was amazing footage which we can't explain. Now on to the other group. They made contact with a apparently 4 or 5-year-old child from over 100 years ago. So as soon as they started the communication, within a minute, I would say, they got contact with the child, which was name was Robert. It was spelling out absolutely everything so fast and accurate all the time. Then this is where it gets fake. This is absolutely amazing. If, like I say, we will provide the links to the video. They ask, can you tell us anything? And the planchette spells out, I like your team the best. Now this is coming from a 4-year-old or 5-year-old from 100 years ago, spelling out straight away, I like your team the best. And then they asked, which member do you like the best? And it proceeded to spell out one of the girls' names. And then it says, who'd like second best? And then it spelled out the second lady's name. And then it says, do you like the boys? And it went straight to no. And then it proceeded to spell, this is where it gets absolutely unbelievable, you are my favourite team. Now this is coming from a 4 or 5 year old who's over 100 years old. I just find it totally unbelievable. Also, it says there's the teams that you don't like that come here. It went to yes, there is teams that it doesn't like. This is, we find, very disrespectful, not only to the people that's watching the stream, also to the spirit. If they are honestly got in touch with the spirit, a young child, we find this very disrespectful. Now, the question is, can you, with messing about on a board, just messing about, can you really, if they really do work, can you attract something through that you don't want it to come through, even though you're messing about and moving it yourself? I don't know this. Like I say, we've used Ouija boards in the past, like we've explained, they've worked, and then they haven't, and when members are left, they've not worked. We just find it very peculiar that people do this. Also, on the board, people use it on top of tombstones. We can also point you in the right direction of this footage. Now, some people listening to this video might do this practice, but we are honest with this group, we find that very disrespectful. Also, to the person that's tombstones it is, who's buried there, we find it very disrespectful. This is something we don't practice or will never practice. But end of the day, with this faking, the Ouija board, we believe the Ouija board is one of the easiest things within the paranormal to fake, because you can move it yourself. We think it's about number 2 in the most easiest faking piece of equipment. I believe that mediumship is the first. And I'm not saying this one bit that every medium's fake. We're not saying that, but say anybody could turn up and say, there's somebody stood there and you can't see it. We found that the first. Second's a Ouija board. And then closely followed by crystals and dowsing rods, etc, etc, etc. But we just find this very disrespectful. Like we say, you don't have to agree with us, it's just our opinion. But if people would like to see this footage we are on about, please private message us. We will quite gladly pass the links on to you. Thanks very much for listening, and anybody got any questions or views, please leave them in the comments, and don't forget, please subscribe.